All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lit in English. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is the season six of Lit in English, and this season is titled "Understanding Your Inner Self: Lead Up the Path to Happiness as Whole Being." And in this journey, we are going to tie the understanding your inner world uh, presentation to the knowledge that we have learned in the happiness study. And there is a huge correlation between the two knowledge. So thank you so much for joining us. And before we going over to today's presentation on the three dimension of presence, let us go back to do a quick review on the five realm of wisdom, which is a presentation that we did previous weeks. All right. So there are five realms of wisdom, which is what the first realm of wisdom is the realm of the ability to differentiate between right and wrong, true or false, good or bad, should versus should not do. So even though it is placing at the very first realm of wisdom, this is actually one of the most important realms of wisdom because us living in the physical world, it is important for us to know. It is so important for us to recognize the importance of knowing between right and wrong, between true and false, between good and bad, between what we should and what we should not do, so that we can choose to do the right thing. And by doing the right thing, we will be able to live life to the fullest. We will be able to materialize our life, the life that we truly want to live. So even though it is the very first realm of wisdom, it is actually the most important one. And then secondly, for our preview of what we did last week, um, we go to the second realm of wisdom, which is telling us that the root cause start from me or with me. And this is a very important realization because instead of blaming other people, instead of thinking that it was other people faults, right? Because usually us human, we tend to think that everything good that happened to us, it was because of our decision. We the one who make it possible. But then when thing goes wrong, us human have the tendency to blame it on other, to blame it on external event, whatever that occurs around us that causes that undesirable outcome to us. But when we have the inner understanding that the root cause start with me or from me, it is easier for us to take the conscious action to change ourselves so that we can change our reality. And that is a very, very high level of understanding. So that is the first realm and the second realm of wisdom. And before I go into the third, fourth, and the fifth, I just want to say that my heart sent out to all of my friends who is living in Florida. I heard that there is a big storm that flooded some area in Florida, and I hope everything is all right. I hope that everything is good over there, and it's good to see Giovanni on camera. And if possible, if you can update us what is happening over there, because I just realized that just now.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, there was a lot of rain that just came, I mean, literally out of nowhere. I was outside, as you know, I'm filling up, we're building a pool in the back and there's a hole right now, but the hole is filled up with water. And then the pool filled up with so much water. So I was out there, trying to manage that. But, I was talking to Vero earlier and her outside almost about, probably about maybe a foot or two above her pool was filled with water. And then it started coming inside of her house. So last I heard is she was at her brother's house. So I don't know if she made it home or not, but there was definitely, I mean, just so much rain here. So I hope everyone's safe. Thank you for acknowledging that.
That is so crazy. Do you guys get that often, or is this like some kind of outlier
Well, the
event?
thing is, from July, I think from July or June 1st to November, it's hurricane season, so we do get a lot of storms. But this storm was just out of the ordinary. It's just so much rain. I've never seen so much rain just come down at once like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just glad that we're safe, and my neighbors and stuff are good, and we didn't get any water inside the house, which is great here, but I do know some other people who did have some major flood issues that they're going to have to deal with, and the rain is still continuing, so it's on and off, and tomorrow's supposed to rain all through Saturday. It's supposed to rain on and off. So
Right. Well, that's I guess that's part of life, and my prayer goes out to all of my friends and everyone who live in Florida. Hope that this storm will goes away soon. And I think that is kind of like a part of life too. It is so beautiful in Florida that we have to thank the rain for some time. You know, because of the very same thing, it could be pretty disruptive. And if we can just
yeah,
weather the storm, then we get to enjoy the beautiful weather, the beautiful scenery.
yeah.
It's
The
go
the
both
crazy
ways.
thing, Ben, is I was outside, and I was meditating out in the rain. So I was just sitting down and just letting the rain just hit me, hit me, hit me. So just being one with the rain, not really scared of it, not running from it, but just being one with it. I think that's important to do in times like this, just realize that we are part of nature. And I see it as a cleansing factor too. So I feel a lot better than I did yesterday. I think because, of sitting out in the rain and just enjoying it as it was coming down. So
Beautiful. Yeah, I had that experience when I was in ninth grade. I think it was in 1999. How like in Vietnam, it's very tropical, just like Florida. And my grandma would tell us to, avoid the rain, don't get sick, you're gonna get inside, stay dry. But just that's one particular night, it was raining really, really hard, and I just feel the need to just lay down on the concrete and just enjoy every single raindrop. And it was one of the great experience that I still remember until this very day. I couldn't I couldn't tell what it was back then, but I feel one with the universe at that time. It was beautiful. So I know exactly what you are talking about, and tying that to the five realms of wisdom. It is clear that you definitely elevate your wisdom, and you understand that um, everything starts from or with us. So it is all about perspective. It is all about our inner work. So if you can choose to blame the weather, or you can choose to appreciate it. Uh, it's still the same thing. It's all about your perspective. So by elevate your realms of wisdom to the second realm, it is easier for us to work on yourself and appreciate the world beyond what it appeared to be. And I appreciate that. And I am going to spend a lot more time uh, reviewing back what we discussed last week, because it ties uh, to the presentation today, the three-dimensional present. These are very, very important. And of course, in the many, many seasons ahead of us, we will revisit in this, because this is a two very, very essential, very, very foundational for the 7 holistic wealth. So Jasmine asked if I would like to go live on Facebook, so I can do that as well. Let's just do that quickly because I do think that this is extremely important, and if we can just get more people to join this discussion, I think this will be good for everyone. All right, that is done. Okay, so the third realms of wisdom is the inner emptiness. So even though it is called inner emptiness, but it is not empty at all. It is actually very full, very crowded, as in wisdom, as in the genuine truth, as in the absolute truth, as we might call it, using the scientific perspective. Some people might call this the opening the third eye. Some might call it be able to connect to a Akashic record. But before all of that, before getting to all of that, one need to get to the third realm of wisdom, which is inner emptiness. And what this means is that the inner emptiness of the mind, where we are not getting attached to our emotion, we're not attached into our human nature. So when the information comes to us, which is that inner emptiness, and because of that inner emptiness that cultivate the inner peace, we are then able to connect to our higher self, to our higher understanding. So at that very split second of the third realms of wisdom, people tend to reach to the fourth realms of wisdom, which is called certain knowledge. That's when you suddenly receive a knowledge. If you focus on the knowledge that you, or the information or the message that you want to receive, you will be able to pinpoint to that knowledge. If you don't really have any specific desire of knowing, and if you can get into that complete stillness, some people even elevate their realms of wisdom to the fifth realm, which is omniscient. It's just that oneness with the universe. It's just that really strong connection to information, to the energy of this world that goes beyond space-time. And thanks to all of the wise men, all the experts, all of our great grandmaster that share with us this knowledge, so we can have some guidance, so we can have some understanding when it's come to different realm of wisdom. And the reason that it is very important for us to understand the five realm of wisdom, because in the 7 holistic well, in this house of the 7 holistic well, we can see that if we were to simplify our problem in this world to its very basic element, there are actually only 4 categories. That is the inner self, health, relation, and finance. And we was told that if we can cultivate the 7 holistic well, which are wisdom, presence, nobility, virtue, capability, physique, and material. If we can just cultivate that, we can just cultivate the 7 holistic well. It is easy, it is simple for us to stand above any problems that might arise in our life. And as you can see, at the very foundation, we have wisdom, and this is extremely important. And this is also the reason our journey is called understanding your inner self, lit up the path to happiness as hope being. Because when we lit up our candle to wisdom, it is easy for us to elevate, or it's easier for us to get to all five realms of wisdom in order for us to build a very, very strong foundation. And with that strong foundation, it's simpler for us to build a very stable house of the seven holistic wealth. And if you pay attention to all of the skyscraper in your city, you will notice that the highest point of the skyscraper is being closest to the very center of the foundation. So the higher you go, the closer to the court of wisdom that you will get. And that is the reason that we need to have a deep understanding of wisdom. It is important for us to understanding our inner self. And today we are going to explore the three dimension of present, right? And that will be the next candle, the next room, the next dark room that we will lit up, and that will help us take in control of our own life, right? So if wisdom is the the expression or the cultivation of your inner self as something very immaterial, then present is something that other people can see, other people can feel in you. And as you can see, present is right at the corner, the bottom left corner of the house, which means that there is a huge this is a huge relation between your inner self and your health. And the word present is very, very powerful. And I want you to think about the image of a president of your country, for example, right? When you see him on TV, or you can see the way that he walked into the room, he will have a presence that you can feel, that other people can feel. Or let's say if you are going to a doctor office to for a checkup, when the nurse walk into the room, you will feel the presence of the nurse, right? But when the doctor walk into the room, you will feel a different presence, a presence of a doctor. Similarly, you yourself as the father or as the mother, you will have different role that you take in. You have different persona. So when you are at work, you would be an employee. So you will have the presence of an employee. But when you go home, when you have to care for your children, then you will have the presence of a parent, and so on. So each and every one of us, we have different present, different persona for different situation that we are in. And I would like to call that different reality that we are in. And we are circling back to the triangle of reality. And now that we have the understanding of the triangle of reality, it is simple for us to understand that the present of a person is the reality of that person at that point, where we can see the information of that present, we can feel the energy of that present, we can see the material of that present. Right? So if you can help me think of your present right now in this Zoom call, you are a participant in this Zoom call. So the information that you are carrying right now, the energy that you are carrying right now, the material that you are carrying right now will reflect your present in this Zoom call. And the present that I am carrying in this Zoom call right now is the presenter, right? So I have to have the energy of the presenter, and the information that I projected out is the information of a presenter. Now, knowing this is very, very critical, because why I am telling you right now is that once you have the understanding of the present of a person, once you understand the information, the energy, and the material of a persona present, then you can be it, right? This is a reason that a person can be a great father when they are with their children, but they can also be a great employee when they are at work. And then when they play basketball, for example, they can be one of the greatest basketball player if they can just have the ability to shift the information, the energy, and the material. And we see that very, very, very often in each and every day of our life. But now that we are conscious of that information, we can work on our present. How can we be how can we have that wealth of present? And this is the presentation that can help us with that. So in order to build up the present that we want to get to, I want to demonstrate further the importance of understanding the present of yourself and the present of other. So there is a story that I still remember until today, and the story actually a story that is told on Joe Rogan podcast, which is the biggest podcast in the world. And in that podcast, Joe Rogan guest told him a story about his grandma. And the story goes that the grandma was only 16 or 18 years old at that time, and she was going on a date with this one guy she just met, and they went to a restaurant on a date, just like between a girl and a boy, just going on a date, getting to know each other better. But as soon as the grandma sat down, she didn't. There's something about the guy that just makes her feel very, very uncomfortable. Something about the energy of that guy telling her that she need to get away from him. She couldn't understand why. So she decided to tell him that she needed to go to the restroom. And she went to the restroom, pick up her phone, call her brother, and tell her brother to come and pick her up right away. She just gotta get out of there. And the brother did. And later on, they the grandma realized that the the boy that she went on that date with is actually Ted Bundy, who is a serial killer who got a lot more mainstream a few years after that. And Ted Bundy is just a really, really bad man who murdered a whole bunch of teenager along his trip across America. So that instant where the grandmother of Joe Rogan guessed, somehow she was able to pick up on the information and the energy of the person sitting across from her. who is Ted Bundy, who is the serial killer, but she couldn't tell why, right? So imagine if you have the ability to sense and to put on a persona or to ship a present of information, energy, and material so that you can transform to a persona of your choosing. That sounds pretty amazing, right? And that is not new. Each and every one of us do that every single day, right? When we are at home, we are a different self. We have a different persona. We're resting. We're spending time with family, doing the thing that we like to do at home. But when we go to work, we shift our present into the position of an employee or maybe even an owner of that business where we work really, really well with others. And let's say a professional singer, when she get on that stage, when she performed, she would shift her persona to to be a professional singer where she can perform that song flawlessly. So there is a shift in information, in energy, and in material where not only she can feel, but the audience, the entire audience can feel that shift as well. So we are establishing the fact that it is possible. It is possible and it is happening every day that a person can shift from one persona to another so that we can do that so that we can perform best the task at hand. And instead of calling that a persona, I would like you to get familiar with the word present because you can have many, many different presents. And the importance of cultivating the right present is because we want to cultivate our wisdom. We want to cultivate our understanding of different realm of wisdom. And different realm of wisdom would give out different information, different energy, and different material. So by knowing the information, the energy, and the material of different realms of wisdom, it is simpler for us to elevate our understanding, to elevate our wisdom. And thanks to my mentor, I got to learn a very, very important information of how to elevate your wisdom through enriching your presence. Right? And I would like to let me just borrow the drawing that I did a couple of weeks ago so we can save more time. So back when we introduced the human structure, we have the 4 elemental body, we have the 84,000 level of illusion, and then we have the 16 human nature. And at the very center, we have the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know. And in order to simplify it, we have the body, our emotion, our mind, and our heart. So what we want to do is we want to materialize the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know. We want to understand our innermost uh, inner self, which is our heart. And in order to get there, the expert tell us that there are three type of energy or three dimensional presence that we need to have in order to elevate our wisdom or elevate our presence. So let's start with these. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a new piece of paper and draw the circle of the center, and this will be representing the heart. It's not right. And then the second layer would represent the mind or the 16 human nature. And the outermost layer is a representation of our emotion or the 84,000 bubble of illusion. Now, my mentor told me that it is important for us to cultivate gratitude when it's come to the layer of our emotion, right? So this would be gratitude. Gratitude. And then for our mind, for the 16 human nature, we need to cultivate compassion. And the innermost, as we mentioned many, many times, we want to reach a state of inner peace. Inner peace. And these are the three dimensions of present. There are many, many different presence of a person, as we have already established at the very, very beginning. But these are the three that we need to cultivate. These are the three that we need to work on. And you might have heard this throughout your journey, right? There are many, many practices that help people to have gratitude, to write down appreciation. There's an entire community called The Secret. And the only thing, well, I shouldn't say with the only thing, but the main thing that they are practicing is gratitude. They write out appreciation, thing that they appreciate, and they channeling that energy to materialize the outcome that they want to have in this life. Very, very powerful. So gratitude is one of the energy that a person would want to cultivate in order to have a wealth in present, which is also an expression of a higher realm of wisdom. Secondly, it is the dimension of compassion. Compassion in the West is often understood as having compassion for other people, as in being forgiving to other, being understanding, have empathy to other people. But for the Eastern perspective, compassion at its very essence, compassion is about having compassion toward yourself, right? You have to have compassion toward yourself because there are things that you might want to do, but you are unable to. For example, you might be very busy at work. It needs to be done. So you missed a soccer game of your son or daughter, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And that is when we need to have compassion for ourselves. And that is also an expression of the second realm of wisdom, where the root cause start with from me or with me, right? Instead of blaming on yourself, you have compassion for yourself because you know that the right thing is to be at the soccer game to support your sons or daughter, but because of the circumstances, you cannot be there. So it is important to cultivate compassion. And last but not least, inner peace. Extremely, extremely important. And we have already discussed this last week on inner emptiness. So by cultivating inner peace, by having that inner stillness, we will be able to reach a higher understanding, a higher level of our consciousness. And the application of inner peace is, let's say, imagine that you try to have compassion on your situation where you couldn't be at your son's or daughter's soccer game. You have to work, right? So you try really hard to utilize the energy of compassion, but the desire to be with your sons or daughter is so strong that it causes you to unable to focus on your work, on the task at hand. That is when we need to utilize the energy of the inner peace, because there's nothing you can do about it at that time. So just by blaming yourself is not going to do anything when you couldn't have compassion for yourself. It is okay to go to that safe space of that inner peace so that you can focus on the task at hand, so you can focus on doing your best of your performance at work. And I'm using this example very, very lightly, right? There are situations in life where you might get into a bad situation, and it is important for you to be at peace, to stay focused on the task at hand so that you can take care of that situation before you can go back home to your family and loved ones. And something as simple like get stuck at the airport, for example, or your car break down, right? What if there is a big car accident in front of you and you just simply cannot go to the soccer game? Instead of blaming on yourself, instead of trying to have compassion for yourself and others, it is important to find peace at that moment so that you can focus on assisting yourself or the people who needed your help right then at the scene, at the accident in front of you. So a person who have the right presence will exude the energy of gratitude, the energy of compassion, the energy of inner self. And these three energy is often expressed by the 5 realm of wisdom. You can actually make an observation people who are going through different states of different realms of wisdom. And I have more to share, but I think it is I would like to hear from you guys. And I know Giovanni said last time that he didn't want to go first, but the truth is this journey is very much about you, and I'm sure everybody want to hear from you. So if possible, if you can join us, interact and tell us what you think about uh, the three dimensions of present on gratitude, compassion, and inner peace so far, and how is that connect to the five realms of wisdom? Thank you.
Hey Ben, sorry, I'm putting my son to sleep right now, but I was taking some notes. If you can go back to the three dimensions as well. One thing I want to make sure that everyone understands fundamentally is that the world that we exist in, even though we see things as dimensions, it's really dimensionless. First of all, I think the dimensions are a way for us to understand where we are in the present moment, which is opposite of eternity, basically. We see things through time, past, present, and future. All of that is, unless you're completely in the present moment, you are opposite of eternity. But this universe is basically governed by one fundamental principle, one law, and that's the law of balance and harmony, first of all. Gratitude, compassion, inner peace cannot be found outside of ourselves. It can only be found inside of ourselves. Now, when we go within to try to find gratitude, compassion, inner peace, where does it come from? You know, that comes from our mind. You know, tell me where inside of your body is your mind. Science still cannot tell us where the mind is inside of the body. There's no way that they can tell us. You know, they can pull your brain out of your body, but even if they dissect it, they cannot find the mind. Gratitude, I thought, was really important because it's all about appreciation. It's all about thankfulness. You know, it's all about, you know, being in the present moment. Gratitude to me is all about recognizing that and acknowledging all positive aspects. You cannot, there's nothing negative about gratitude. There's nothing negative about compassion. And there's nothing negative about inner peace. So this universe fundamentally is a universe that's based off of something that's good, something that's positive. And when you add all of these three things up, you get love. Love is the genuine energy. It's the only energy of this universe. And it's all about how you, and that's what the heart symbolizes. When you think of the heart, you think of love. That's the only energy that we can operate from. That's the only energy that we can use to create in this dimension. So when you're taking gratitude, when you're adding gratitude into your life, what you're doing is you're taking all the positive aspects, all your experiences, whether negative, all your relationships, whether negative, you know, all that does is helps you focus, to shift your focus on, instead of what you're lacking, you focus on what you already have right now in the present moment, which I think it's people really need to understand that there's a difference between that. Because if all you had was negative relationships your whole life, which I had a lot of negative relationships, there comes a time when you have to question yourself, like, what am I supposed to learn from these negative relationships? How do I turn these negative relationships into love? And it's not about changing the other person. Gratitude, compassion, and inner peace is all about what we can do to change ourselves right now in the present moment, to align ourselves to become more balanced and more harmony with the one universal law of love. I think the biggest thing with compassion is you are right. I mean, compassion is our ability to kind of empathize with other people, but compassion really comes from a place where we're able to show kindness and understanding and care for ourselves first, so that we can use that genuinely to extend that love, that compassion to other people. um and I think that when you do it from a place of love, what you're trying to do with other people is kind of seeing what you could do right now in the present moment to alleviate their suffering. Everyone's suffering somehow, right? But when you use compassion, you get to choose how you suffer, and you can suffer with grace. You can suffer better. You're no longer a victim. You're a victor. You're going from a person who worries a lot to becoming a warrior when you learn how to transmute this energy of gratitude and compassion in the right direction, which is the positive direction. Um, and then lastly, I just think that from a state of inner peace is all about being calm. It's all about, having or being in a state of complete balance of stillness within yourself. I would like to just kind of see like a seesaw, right? Like a seesaw. If the seesaw is balanced, there's equal, everything's equal. It's equanimity. There's nothing that's moving. So that's the importance of finding stillness from within. This is the only place that we can find inner peace, which, that's where our happiness comes from, is the complete stillness from within. From this stillness, we're able to, use mindfulness. We're able to use meditation. We're able to use self-reflection. We're able to use self-care. These are things that we've learned, in our happiness masters program. Um, and these are things that I've applied myself in my life because I didn't know these things. I had to literally, you know, make myself into a science experiment to see what works for me. And the beautiful thing about having gratitude, compassion, inner peace is individualistic, which means there's a certain degree that works for everybody. What works for me doesn't work for you, but you can take what I'm saying and apply it in your life and see what works for you. Hold on to that, and what's not working for you today, let it go. Tomorrow you can find something new that works for you, and you can always change these things because the purpose of life is to really to find out who we truly are. What does that really mean? And you have to think about how you think, why do you believe certain things, why do you hold on to your identity? When you let go of all of this, you let go of all the commotion in your life, and now you're starting from a place where you can find complete inner peace, complete stability. And it's a place of being just centered and balanced within yourself, that everything around you could be so chaotic, but once you're still within yourself, you can make the best decision for yourself. You can give the best advice to someone who's in front of you, who came to you for advice. You can make the best decision to make someone's life just a little bit better right now in the present moment, because this is all we have. We are eternally going to be in the present moment. You know, Yesterday, I hope that tomorrow will come. Tomorrow never came. It's always here. It's always right now. And I think that, just finding ways to nurture the gratitude, the compassion, and inner peace. This is how we can, really enhance our presence. I think presence is really important because it brings us to what's important, which is the here and now. And yes, you're here and now. You can choose a better quote unquote future for yourself. And it all begins with what you do right here, right now. And every second, every breath that you have is another chance to choose better for yourself, to become more balanced. And I think once you do that, we can experience, really, I mean, in this lifetime, I'm a living example of it. We can experience a deeper sense of fulfillment and well-being in your life, but it's not going to be easy. You are your own worst enemy. Your mind can either help you, or your mind can either hurt you. And really, it's up to us to decide whether it hurts us or helps us. And I really like this presentation because you know, a lot of people just overlook presence. But it's the only thing that we have, because wherever we are, we're present wherever we are, whether we like it or not. So it's very important.
Uh, Amazing. And I love how you are able to connect to all of this very quickly. And yes, we are speaking of presence as well at the the word present, you know, living in the present, living mindfulness, and gratitude, compassion, inner peace are the three great energy that we can cultivate. And there are so much more that we can talk about this. Well, I just want to take a moment to appreciate what you say, and we can dive in a deeper conversation. And I see Jasmine has been turning her video on, so I think she is probably have something to share. And if you have something to share, feel free to raise your hand and just type into the chat. I would love to hear what you have to say as well. Thank you.
Hi Ben, hi Giovanni and everybody. Interesting fact, when I heard of this presentation, and I kind of like connect the dot and connect Giovanni to energy. For some reason, I thought he would know this better, just because like in the past, Giovanni did talk about, you know, like energy that's stored inside our body that could potentially harm our body if we have like wrong type of energy that we store in our body without knowing that we store the bad type energy in us. And yeah, I was just connecting the dots just because, you know, of like yesterday, Vero talked to me about potentially like having Giovanni and you, Ben, in our podcast. So I would like what Giovanni can do that can relate to the topic that we could provide. And then somehow today I thought about energy, and literally like Ben talk about, you know, the presence. And here we go. We listened to Giovanni explain about energy and the present, and I was like, that's perfect. So that's what yeah, I just want to connect the dot that I collect and is had in my mind. Um, I think it's really important to know because recently, all of my clients came to me. I would say like the one who don't know me and the one who know me, they came to me and they will ask me about, you know, energy, if I know about energy, and they just start telling me information about energy part. So I feel like we aware of the energy now more than we should. Like 5 years ago or even like 2 years ago. You know, like 2 years ago, if I talk to people about being present or energy, they may not know what to respond to me. But now I have people come and talk to me about it. So it means like more people know about this and aware of it because more people talk about it. So it's really important, and I like how Giovanni can go deep in this topic, just because you know, you mentioned that you use yourself as a walking, talking, an example. So you have you know, like just experience to explain to people what's going on there and how to apply this into their daily life. That's really important because everybody can talk about it, but they don't really apply it into their life. And so when we applied it, we know about the information, we applied it, and we have experience out of that. Then it will, then the word that we say to other people, it would be more meaningful and it has power in there, you know. So I feel like this is the right topic to start if we ever collaborate. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank Jasmine. And again, this is very powerful, even though we only write a few words on these two page. But if one can fully, completely understand the 5 realms of wisdom and the 3 dimensional presence. They will master this life. They have the totality, the complete understanding of the human view, the world view, and the cosmic view. And I'm saying this with confidence because I learned this from from my mentor, my great teacher, and many of the wise men come before them. And we are just so lucky to be able to learn this. And I see Giovanni raise his hand. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Jasmine, for that. I kind of just want to talk a little bit more of how like presence and energy is kind of like related, right? Because they really are. You know, presence basically is like the being fully engaged in the present moment, right? But energy is the force that allows you to be engaged in the present moment, right? So when I think of presence and energy, 4 things come to mind. Number 1, you have your personal presence and your personal energy. So that's basically that you're attuned to how your energy works, how your energy is affected. You get to choose not how you spend your energy, but how you invest your energy. Okay, it's a big thing. So when you look at Tesla and all these electric cars, pretty soon they're going to find a way that Tesla cars can share batteries while they're on the road driving. Okay, the same way that you can be around people that can either raise your energy level or lower your energy level. When you go into a room, people either have good vibes or bad vibes. Vibes are vibrations, which is energy and motion. That's what we're talking about here. Then there's energetic presence in itself. So that presence can be the quality of the energy in itself. Either it's a good energy or it's energy that drains you. So just knowing that is that all energy can be felt. The energy can be sensed by others. A lot of times this is done like subconsciously, right? And all it is the result of being fully present, to being authentic and aligned with what you truly believe, not what you've been taught to believe, but by questioning how you believe and really believing something that you believe in by doing your own research. Then you have presence and energy in relationships, which is a crucial aspect of we learned in happiness studies of building meaningful connections and relationships. When we're fully present with ourselves and with other people, we can create a space that's like authentic, that we can communicate like we're doing now. We're communicating and we're having a deep connection, but what we've all made up our mind to be here, number 1, and then we're all using technology, which is energy, to become connected. So that's energy in relationships and presence. But then you have the collective presence and energy, which is basically, how do I put it? Basically like it goes beyond just yourself, just knowing that you are connected, interconnected with everything else, and knowing how your energy affects other people and how their energy relates to you. And this can be seen in various ways, like a lot of times when I'm having like guided meditations with friends and stuff like that, or other family members, we can feed off of other people's energies. And I also think that having meetings like this is an idea of a collective presence and energy. So I just think that just try to be open-minded to your experience, open-minded to yourself. Question everything, question all your thoughts, all your beliefs, even all of your emotions. Make sense of it all, and then just choose better for yourself. That's the whole purpose of energy, is it allows us, energy is the driving force that allows us to make choices in every present moment. And that's why energy is really important for everything. It's the only thing that makes sense, because it's the only driving force that we truly have and that we can control in the present moment.
Beautiful. That is absolutely true. And I do see Jesse Fullen raise her hand, but I would like to connect Giovanni point to the presentation of present very quickly. Now, presence in the seven holistic well is extremely, extremely powerful because it carry energy, as Giovanni and Jasmine put it. So if you recall of what we share in the past regarding the material and the immaterial in the seven holistic well, presence is in the group of immaterial, which means that is something that is not material pretty much. You can't really touch it, you can't really see it. But the thing is, you can absolutely feel it. Once you walk into the room, you can feel the energy. And out of all of this, the energy are present, and that is the exactly reason it's called present in the first place. Super, super powerful. And not only presence can help you reach your inner self, to your inner peace, and elevate the five realms of wisdom, but there's also its application in real life, as I mentioned. So imagine that you are a let's say you are a captain, or you are I forgot the English word for it, but pretty much you are leading an army, right? You are a leader leading an army. Let's say Alexander the Great. Prior to a big battle, the leader would stand in front of the army and they would make a speech, and the entire army, tens of thousands of soldiers, they can feel that presence. And with word, he can spread out that energy. He can lift the spirit, the morale of the entire battle. And when the general, the leader, walk into the battlefield, they can shift the entire battlefield. And it is truly, truly powerful and beautiful when you study war of the past. And I would like to borrow that example so that you can see the power of presence. And if you pay close attention, you can see that happening right here, right now in this life, right? If you observe Elon Musk, he is making wave. If you look at Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar and Happiness Study, we are making wave. We are making changes. We can feel that energy even for the WIT community. We can see the changes in our member. So present is something extremely, extremely powerful once we understand it and once we can utilize it correctly. So thank you for allowing me to make that point. Jesse, feel free to unmute yourself. Thanks for waiting.
Hi Ben, hi Giovanni, hi everyone. Yeah, hi Jojo, you sleep? Yeah, actually today I would like to say something about this present because you know, this is one of the most powerful things I have learned from my great teacher, from our great teacher, you know, Giovanni. And in the past, I think that no one can compassion, no one can be sympathy for anyone, even though for ourselves. I know that in our world, maybe we can have the sympathy for another one, but about ourselves we cannot. But until several years, I learned this lesson, and I applied to my love. I applied to my life, and I found that it's so simple. And talking about the energy, when Jasmine say about energy, I felt remember thing about the lesson that my great teacher also shared to us. You know that Giovanni, the energy is from ourselves, from the inner peace, from the compassion, from the gratitude. And anyone can have that energy. We don't need to find energy from another one. We don't need to find energy from our friends, our family, another one, just us. We have that energy. And when we have the inner peace, when we understand about this, we have the present, and we can live more than we can think. And this is one of the most powerful lessons I learned from my teacher, my mentor, and I think that we need to know about this more, because it's so simple. But when we apply to our life, for example, when we have a child, my grand teacher say that, when we have a child, we may be mature. We can be a mature adult. We think that we are adult, but we are not. Even when we have a child, we can be more mature. But in the past, I'm not believe that. I have a lot of questions about that. Why? Why did he say that? Why? But after I have 2 children, and I found that, oh my God, my children, they are my teacher. They are my guidance. They are everything. And I can learn a lot from them so that I can mature with them. And I think that when we have children, we can learn the lesson more about compassion and inner peace. This is more powerful, because sometimes when we are working, they are going out, they are shouting, they are angry, they want something that I crying. And at that time, I cannot do anything. But with inner peace, I can know how to do, what to do, and why I need to do that. So I love that so much. So thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Jasmine, and everyone. Yes.
Thanks, Jesse. I feel the same way. And of course, we are not going to be able to cover this in 90 minutes. It's gonna take like 90 days. Some people go through their entire lifetime and still not be able to figure it out. We are just super lucky that we got to learn about the information of this knowledge. And speaking of energy, I can share with you that the gratitude, the energy of gratitude is high. The energy of compassion is very high, and the energy of inner peace, it is called extremely high. Extreme. How do you spell extreme? EXTR. Extremely. Now, this is very, very important, because we've learned that the entire universe is energy, and there are different dimensions that carry different form of energy. So by raising the level of energy, we get to experience different dimension. So by cultivating your presence or living in the present, being mindful, we are actually elevating our understanding, elevating our wisdom. And I know this might sound crazy, but once we can reach that inner peace, when we can raise the inner energy to extremely high, that is when we are able to break through different realms of wisdom, the 3rd realm, the 4th realm, and even the 5th realm. And if you look at the world we live in today, it is all about energy, even the physical world that we are living in right now, right? You will hear people often talking about oil, gas, and then electricity, nuclear energy. It is all about the ownership of energy, even though it is in the physical form. So if you were to see it at the immaterial form, it is even greater. And it is not new, great thinker in the past, wise man in the past, especially in the Axel age from 2,500 years ago. The Buddha, Lao Tzu, Socrates, all of them have talked about gratitude, compassion, and inner peace. They might use a different wording, but they know that something else is out there, right? Knowledge is out there. Wise man is valued in the society. And just like what Jesse Fernandez said earlier, when you are aware of this, you actually have the choice. You can choose to raise the level of your energy. Because when you are simply appreciate, when you simply cultivate your gratitude, you are already raising your energy to a higher state where you can attract wealth, where you can attract fame. And in the book The Secret, or in the secret community, that's all that they does, right? They write down appreciation, they exercise the energy because it's attract wealth, it attract positive thing to them. But that is just a surface. That is barely just the surface of it. We gotta go deeper. We gotta go higher to compassion, to inner peace, where we can expand our understanding. So what Giovanni said earlier about our heart and about love, you hear love all the time, but just be honest, how many people truly understanding love, right? Real love is about real understanding of how this world moves, right? You can only have love for others when you have the understanding of where they are coming from. You understand their struggle. And many of us, we can feel it, but we still are very unclear of it. That's how I was in the past. To be very honest, that is how I am today. I am still working on this, and this is why we call this is a journey, and we are a fellow journeyer. It doesn't matter how old you are, how well informed or your educational level, we are all on the same journey. And I'm so glad that you are here with me, because we get to share this amazing knowledge. And my promise to you that there is a path, right? There is a journey, there's a pathway, and we are all going toward that destination. And in the short 15 minutes that we have left, and Giovanni is our special guest, so I wanted to ask you a question. Would you like to share your thought, or would you like to choose one of these three energies for us to dive in deeper? Because we're not going to have time to cover all three of this.
Wow. I put myself standing inside of the inner peace, because I think that's the ultimate goal for everybody. That's the only way that we can find true, authentic happiness, is by finding the inner peace, which obviously by the word inner, it doesn't come from outside of us. It takes a lot of work to go deep within yourself to know who you really are, when everything else is chaotic and you're still. But from that space, compassion allows us to know how to act and react to other people. And then gratitude helps us to just be grateful for having that experience, to interact with ourselves and other people from the place of inner peace. So I really think that I would like to just go straight into inner peace, really find out what other people think about inner peace, why they think that way, and then just peel the layers back on that, because I think that's the most important.
I think so too. all spiritual practices want to get to here, to inner peace. And because they've read it in ancient texts, and they talk to great practitioner, great teacher of the world, and everyone going toward the same destination. And we are lucky of getting to learn about those great thinker in happiness studies, as well as we are so blessed to come across this knowledge from our mentor, from our great mentor. So you are right, inner peace is something beyond the word itself. It is something very, very special. It is the pathway to home. It is homecoming, right? We often hear the word the journey. Well, where is the journey leading? And so inner peace is like a doorway to get to that path. And in order to understand inner peace, I'm gonna try my best to express it in 10 minutes. Inner peace. Most people do not understand what inner peace is. Everyone wants to be happy, and they are chasing happiness, and they get lost along the way. So in order to understand and find inner peace, you have to approach it in direct way. And I love the way that Tao put it. It is like looking at the sunlight. If you stare at it, it will hurt your eyes. But if you can shine the line on a prism and break it down to 7 color and cultivate it, you will be able to get closer to it. So instead of the word happy, I would like to interchange the word happy with the word inner peace, or at peace, right? It's a word I love to use. Instead of happy, we want to be at peace, as in we will reach inner peace. So most people in the world would chase what I would like to call pleasure. They want to make more money. They want to have fame. They want to date the hottest girl or the most handsome boy. They want to eat the most delicious food. They want to drive like this fast car, go rest at this 5-star hotel or even like 6-star resort. Simply put, they are chasing prosperity, beauty, fame, eating, and resting. And when they find it, they will feel happy for a split second. And then they are chasing the next thing. If they lucky, they don't fulfill all of it in a short period of time. The unlucky one, they get super successful early on in the 20, in the 30. They fulfill so many of it, and they are so lost because they don't know where to go next. They lost hope, they lost purpose, because all their life, the only thing they know is chasing pleasure. And when they can no longer feel that void in their mind, in their heart, they go crazy. So we are actually very, very lucky to learn about inner peace, or I like to call it at peace. So how do we get there? Now that we can differentiate between happiness and at peace is extremely powerful, because not only you find the meaning of life, you gain wisdom, right? When you are at peace, you will reach that inner emptiness state of mind, where you will reach that certain knowledge. You will build that neural pathway, that neuroplasticity, right? And you will be able to connect to your total karmic knowledge of the many lives that you live, or you might even able to tap into that library of the great cosmos itself, where you might even reach that omniscience realm. So understanding inner peace, how to find inner peace so that you can be at peace is the most desired state of mind. And I'm actually doing much better than I imagined because it's only been 2 minutes so far, so I can actually show some drawing. So all right, here's what my mentor showed me, and would like to express that again on paper. All right, so this is a representation of your heart and the state of inner peace or at peace by reaching the innermost layer. Let's use this. This is the will to hear, to hear, and don't worry if you can't see it clearly, just know that it is there. So we have the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know, surrounded by radiant aura. So this is the heart, is the innermost. This is where we want to get to. When you are at peace, this is it. This is the state of being at peace. And I love it when I talked to Giovanni in the past, and he often expressed the importance of getting rid of your ego. Right? So the ego can also be understood at the mind. So this is another layer. And then the outer layer, we have the emotion layer. In the human structure, we have the 16 human nature, and then we have the 84,000 book of illusion. And my mentor taught me that in order to reach inner peace, it is actually very simple. When information comes to us, information come to us, we're gonna let it go straight to our heart. Let's just write the word heart right on top of the here. Hit up here. Let's write the letter T. We're gonna allow the information to go straight from our heart. We don't want it to stop at the 84,000 bubble of illusion for our emotion. We're not gonna let it stop at our ego. And to be clear, I'm gonna write down this here, emotion. And then over here we have our ego. And in order to differentiate between these, Giovanni, I'm gonna use a quick example. So right now I'm looking at you, and I'm going to say to you that you are looking very handsome today. Okay. So when you receive that information, that is the information. So when you receive that information and you say, thank you, Ben, I appreciate it, then that means that that information is got stuck at your emotion because you are reacting to the information with your emotion. You might be very happy, you might be very excited. All of those are different type of emotion. So the information got stuck at the information state. But if when I tell you that you are very handsome today, instead of reacting to it based on your emotion, you started to analyze like why did Ben say that? Was it because I had my shirt on? Is it because I had my headphone on, or because I'm carrying yo-yo? Or maybe because of my background, like why did Ben say that? You start to analyze why did I say it? Which that means that the information got stuck at your ego. You start to analyze that information. So the expert, the master tell us that instead of all of that, when information come to us, we are very still. We are at peace, right? We are at peace. We only receiving the information. We only have the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know without judgment. So that is the expression of receiving the information at peace. And this is very, very powerful. Of course, we're gonna spend hours, even days to discuss this. But just know that this is what the expert tell us. This is how it feel like. And when you exercise it, when you cultivate that feeling, and over time you understand what it means by letting information come to you, you will learn about the genuine truth. You start to recognize the genuine truth. And the definition of the genuine truth is something that does not change over space and time, right? Your how change over space and time. Doesn't matter how much you love your wife or your children, that too change over time. So genuine truth is something that does not change over space time. And this is how we get to it. This is how we get to get through our inner emptiness, right? The process of letting the information go through the emotion, go through the ego without getting attached to it. This thing right here, the thing that looked like a tunnel here, that is the inner emptiness. That is allowing the information to go straight to the heart. And this is the secret to cultivate inner peace. And it is the guiding light to get you go beyond that door. And that is that. Feel free to share with us what you think, and then I guess we're gonna say bye and we'll see each other next week.
Hey, Ben, I just want to say one thing when it comes to inner peace, that it's kind of like a bridge, right? We're on one side and we're trying to get to the other side. So in the beginning, you have to believe first that there is such a thing as inner peace. That's the first step of finding inner peace, is you have to have a belief. And then in order to know inner peace, which is on the other side, you have to create this bridge, which is the bridge of experience. So through experiences, you have to find different methods and ways, to cultivate inner peace in your existence, in your presence. And that's the only way to go from a belief to a knowing, is by experiencing. And when you experience inner peace, then you know inner peace. Then there's no way that you can believe something and know something at the same time. You either believe something or you know it. And our object here is to actually know exactly what it is and what it means for us individually and what it means for us together, you know, as one, as oneness.
Yes, and of course we cannot cover all of this in 90 minutes, but I think what needed to be said has been said. And in the next season and many seasons ahead of us, we will come back to this. We will spend more time on this, but this is more the introduction to presence and wisdom. And before we go, I just want to that quickly that we do have the seven holistic well, but in season 6, we only introduce wisdom and presence. For next week, we will move into a different topic that beyond the seven holistic well, but it also support what we have learned so far. So the last message that I want to set your way is that, you know, just cultivate wisdom and presence, and you can be one with the cosmos itself. You can elevate your wisdom and your understanding. And with that, I thank you so much for joining us today. And I would like to play a song as we say goodbye to each other, and I will see you next week. I appreciate you.